Introducing Chat and Choose Health-i-monials. Join us in opening the gift of health.
My name is Jenny, as you have heard, and I am here to give, I love it, Health-i-monial. I love the saying. So I'm going to start with my visual, which y'all are seeing that picture, but just to give you a better idea of where I was and where I got to. And you know what? I've shown people these pants, but I'm going to show y'all something else. It's a little embarrassing, but some of y'all might relate to this. Look where they wore through first. Okay? Right between my thighs. Okay? If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, I have an interesting story. Here's my Health-i-monial. Back on the microphone. As a girl, I was nonstop. I was involved in every sport you could name, and I even made up some sports. I'm not making that up. In middle school, I joined track, and I had a friend who was a boy who thought girls were slow. So I'm like, reverse psychology works very well on me. If you tell me I can't do something, you watch. So I set the record for the mile run at my school for girls and boys. And so I was just always on the go, If I joined a sports team, I always picked the spot that was the most difficult or injury prone. I was the goalie or whatever. By high school, I was having problems. Things were hurting. And I was blaming it on the sports, especially because I was in track and I jumped hurdles and, hey, my knees hurt. But I'm jumping hurdles. Of course my knees hurt. And it wasn't until my junior year that I started realizing, my friends aren't always saying my knees hurt, my shoulders hurt. Maybe it's something more than I'm just involved in a lot of sports. So I started going through some testing, and near the end of my high school, I was diagnosed with juvenile onset rheumatoid arthritis. And it explained a lot, actually, that I hadn't connected before with getting sick and things like that. But at the time, the doctor said to me, probably by the time you're in your 40s, you'll be in a wheelchair.
Oh.
And it was probably the worst thing a doctor could say to me because I shut down. I had this crazy idea that if I didn't move, maybe I wouldn't wear my joints out so fast, and maybe I wouldn't be in a wheelchair by the time I was 40. So I went from being this dynamo sports person to pretty much not moving. I quit running, I quit playing tennis, I quit doing pretty much anything. And fast forward, that's not even my heaviest. I couldn't find a photo fast enough, but I just, over the course of the next few decades, I just started gaining weight because I was no longer exercising, but I hadn't adjusted how I was eating at all. I was still eating like I was a high school track star, which was a huge mistake. I was also, to be fair, eating like I was a high school track star in 1950, so my plates had every amount of gravy and cheese and butter, and that's what I did. And the pain was getting worse. And I got to my 40s and it was getting worse. And I was thinking, holy crud, he was probably right. At some point I'm going to be in a wheelchair, because I would get up in the morning and I'd sort of roll off the bed and I would walk like this to the bathroom. And by the time I got there, I could move a little bit better. But that's how restricted my movement was. I got blessed. God works in mysterious ways, and I won't give you that long story, but I wound up in school nutrition, which is where I am now. I'd been a teacher, and I wound up in school nutrition, and the first week there, one of my coworkers, we were talking, and I don't usually just start with, "Hi, I'm Jenny, I have rheumatoid arthritis." I don't even remember how it came up. But she looked at me and said, "Wow, you shouldn't be eating dairy." Okay. No one had ever said that to me before. I had never heard those words, no doctor, no one. It was another school nutrition supervisor who said it to me. And I thought, okay, so I thought I'd go do a little research. This was new. And then I realized I really had nothing to lose. I'd always been wary about the medicines that the doctors wanted to put me on because I just loved, you get down to the fine print. Side effects may be serious and sometimes fatal. Well, that'll solve the rheumatoid arthritis, won't it? I won't have to worry about that anymore. I'll be dead, but hey, it won't bother me. And I'm like, well, that's not what happens when you change your diet. You're not, side effects aren't serious and sometimes fatal. Well, I mean, if you were changing your diet the wrong way. But as I started researching it, I started realizing something. I was poisoning myself. It was a slow poison. It wasn't like downing a box of rat poison, but my diet was killing me. It was just a slow death, but that's what was happening. And, and then you start thinking, hey, I put better food out for my dogs than I would for myself. I spent more time researching what went in my dog food than what went on my plate. And I'm thinking, why would I do that to myself? But that's what I had done. So I decided to jump full bore into this. I watched Forks Over Knives at her recommendation. And I will tell people now, I'm like, you probably want to ease into it. Not me. I woke up on a Sunday morning and looked at my husband and said, I'm going to be a vegan. And he laughed. And I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I did. So that was it. I had to go to the store, but there wasn't enough in the house at that point. But and it's just been amazing because almost immediately I felt better. Almost immediately I was getting up in the morning and I'm like, I don't sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies anymore, which is exactly how I used to sound. Every joint would crack when I walked. It was the snap, crackle, pop as I went down the hall. I don't do that anymore. I used to try to get a little bit of walking in, and it was pretty sad. I mean, I was proud of myself if I got the full mile in half an hour. And now I look at my Fitbit and I'm like, what? I've only done 4 miles today and it's 10 o'clock already? And so I'm out there and I'm running again. And I haven't been running since school. I turned 49 in a week for reference. And when I went home for Thanksgiving last year, on Thanksgiving Day, the whole family's there, and I was like, bye, I'm gonna go run a 5K. And everybody said, are you crazy? Why? Because it feels good, and I can. And that's really the answer, I can. And a year ago, I could not. And all of that came from a change in diet, and it's circular. The diet made me feel better, so I started exercising more. I could exercise more, I started losing the weight. I started eating better, and it just built. And so people look at me, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. I've lost about 93 pounds now. And thank you. And some people are, what did you do? What did you do? And I tell them, and I'm like, it's not a magic pill. And it's not even that complicated. And it's not, it's not a fad diet. And sometimes I hate to say the word diet at all, because when I mean diet in the sense of what I am eating, not diet as in Atkins diet or what, it's not a weight loss program. The weight is coming off naturally because I'm moving more, because I feel better, and I'm eating better. And so thank you for letting me get up here and tell you guys all about it. I don't know if anybody would ask me anything.